recording. So true. Welcome
Oh yeah.
to your GM class, Masington. Welcome to the GM team again. I'm gonna first start off with the notes. So, reusing pings and dupes. We should be making an effort not to reuse pings and dupes. It is important to always provide an experience that is at least somewhat fresh and exciting. You should only reuse a ping/dupe once every 2 months at most. So, shouldn't really be reusing stuff. Try to be original with your stuff. Sometimes things happen, but make it at least 2 months out if you're going to reuse something, so it's fresh for everybody. Tool gun settings. Your tool gun should always be using the required preset settings that you are detailed in every event team guidelines. The only exception to this is the drop pod tool. If at any point, always refer to the event team guidelines if you're unsure of your tool gun settings. So with this, the event guidelines, you probably remember them, but if you're confused on what your tool gun settings should be, refer to those. Try not to go out of those bounds, like using a misc explosion instead of like a plain explosion. Try to make it the stuff that's preset because it's meant to not crash the server. That's why we have it set like that. That's why we also do droid spawns like that. Battalion objectives. Your ping should always include objectives for every battalion as it aids the proper inclusion of all the battalions within your event. If you are unsure what any given battalion's specialty is, don't hesitate to ask. Battalion inclusion is required and not optional. So this goes for making your dupes too. Make sure you're including maybe one or two things for every battalion so it stays fresh for them. You don't want it to get stale for those battalions, and you want to make sure every battalion feels included so they don't leave halfway through your event. So just make sure in your pings you're also including for every battalion except SOBDE because it no longer exists. Piloting as an EC. Every single flight core rule is still in effect while you're in EC. This means you should not be hover shooting, ramming other vehicles/players, or dogfighting while piloting or fighting against lats. Always make sure you follow all the rules. So if you are flight trained, make sure you're not purposely ramming into things. Uh, don't do what Rapid does, like slam into the ground. Just do your best to fly properly, because you do have a bunch of people in your lat, and they might jump out, and you might end up killing all of them. So just do be careful piloting. And then crashing with blood. Some props on the server can cause players to crash when blood splatters onto them. The two primary offenders of this are the ARC 170 prop and the lat eye props. You should never be conducting droid spawns next to these two props. Most ground vehicles should be fine to continue spawning near. So, I didn't know this myself, but the ARC 170 crashes the server and lat with the blood. So just do be careful. If you are going to have them in your events, make sure they're somewhere far off where you're not going to have droid spawns so it won't affect anything that's going on. We'll just go over some things now in Guillermo's modulation about events and dupes. Have you ever made a plastic dupe before, Mace?
Attempted, but it never came out good.
Attempted? Alright.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you what my next event coming up's looking like with plastic. If you're going to make a plastic dupe, I suggest making it something condensed, but detailed. Don't be afraid to ask other people to spawn your dupes in for you, because as you can see, all together this is 692 parts. I've split this up into like 2 parts. So I got part 1 and part 2. And then I have dynamic parts of my events. Africa, are we like pushing for dynamics in GM yet, or not
You should
really?
always be pushing for them.
Okay. But dynamics make your event a lot more interesting for the troopers. So like one of my dynamics here, it could be something as simple as what I'm about to do right here. I have an ATTE prop, right? I welded everything together, all those small stupid parts on the ATTE. Oh wait. Come down. Just trying to get close to that ladder. Alright, so it can be something as simple as this, like you have an ATTE here, and let's say this ray shield opens up. This artillery can fire on the ATTE, someone can do something as simple as like ship destructing it. It'll create a small smoke cloud, and it'll give you a little bit of a chance to get your other part spawned in. So then you can have like your ATTs on fire, like, ooh, like look, that you've actively changed the environment, so it's a little bit more engaging for the troopers. And like what I'm also planning for this event is I'm having homing spider droids. So these are going to be here at the beginning. With dynamic parts, you always want to have these separately, but have them ready to be able to remove a tool. So they're going to fight the spider droids. Once they fight them, and I ship destruct it, I'll remove it, and I'll just get the destroyed one. It just makes it more interesting, and it makes troopers more engaged in your dupe when they can see that the environment that they're interacting with is actively changing around them. It's like this is like looking to be like a little bit of a battlefield now, right? So make sure you're also having objectives like I was talking about earlier for every battalion, at least like 1 or 2. Like Fleet's gonna have an objective here. My plan is for 501st to use their ATTEs to ferry the troopers across the water, because this is no collided, so they will have to ride on top of 2 501st ATTEs into battle. So it'll make it interesting. That's the thing for 501st. So always plan your events around things. I wouldn't suggest what I see in some people's dupes. They'll just make a dupe to make a dupe and then throw random things in there. You should always just have it planned in your dupe, because it'll just make your event feel all the more better. Because like here, this is where they're going to get information on something from my dupe. Like there's going to be underground tunnels, and they'll have to come here in order to negotiate with some tech droid or something to find that information out. So if you're planning stuff within your dupe, it's going to help you along the way, especially if you're doing a plastic dupe. Not everyone likes doing plastic dupes. I love them, personally. But if you are going to do a dupe in general, make it condensed. You don't want what I see mistakes a lot during events is like trains of Kashyyyk barriers, and then just you can tell these big stupid buildings are used. Like I would see open spaces like this. I would say you don't want to use big open spaces, but instead fill it with like random rocks. Like build an environment. Because like here you can tell this is an environment, right?
Yeah.
This is very filled, and you want your events to not feel stale. You want troopers to be engaged. So like here, we're gonna have a shock objective up here. So shock's got something to do. We're gonna come back here. 501st is gonna be on top of the trenches with their ATT still. We'll be having vehicle combat. There's these little guys here. That can be more artillery, more issues for the ATTs. 212th can fly over. They can set bombs and blow them up. 91st. Once 91st also finds out something, just have stuff set up. All right. Any questions about how you, like, maybe tips to start building a plastic dupe?
Not really.
No. You wanna? Do you already have an event made? Would you like?
Yeah, I already.
Look at your event.
Yeah.
You can stream yours, and I can take a look at it.
Oh, the dupe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like, also making sure all your tool gun settings are correct, right? So you don't want to have, let's say, on your destroyable entity, right? Wherever the fuck it is. I'll find it eventually. I swear. I don't think I have it on single player. But just make sure it's the proper settings, and then your drop pod tool as well. You don't want to have your NPC's health to like 500. It could be like 2,000 something. Then make sure your drop pod health is moderately good. But if you want to pull up your event, I'll take a look at it. We'll go over some things.
Yeah, I am. I'm loading into the map.
But does this kind of give you like a little insight on how to make plastic dupes? I would suggest environmental. This is how I've made all of my plastic dupes. I just make it an environment. That's how it feels like a different map. Like this doesn't feel like fucking Syria. Yeah, we're on Syria. This doesn't feel like Syria to me. And then I got other ones could probably. But it doesn't have to be plastic again. I see a lot of people use the regular, and that's fine. Just maybe for regular ones, make it feel fresh by going off on a different path. Make sure you're. I would say get out of the habit if you used to be in of using other people's dupes. I would just say try using your own if you're gonna reuse anything. It's just gonna help you get better at building dupes, and it's gonna make you feel more confident in your dupe building skills. I know Africa's got a pretty good dupe coming up. His past, present, future one. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah. Still at Lewis target.
And I wouldn't be afraid to ask other GMs to spawn dupes in for you. I have no problem. If you send me a 250 prop dupe and you still have like 100.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to send it to somebody because this one's like a lot of let's go, a lot of props.
This dupe right here, I had to spawn in 3 parts. But you see another thing again. I have objectives for every battalion throughout it, and I have a dynamic part. So there's the trees before. The AV7 was supposed to fire on these.
Yeah.
And then, wow, now look, the forest is destroyed, everything's on fire. Let's change the environment. They'll make the troopers engaged.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at yours. Alright, I'm watching.
Okay, so it's 326 props.
Uh-huh.
You can see. So they're gonna be fighting
Is
on
everything
right here.
welded?
Huh? I gotta get the smart weld.
Yeah,
I still haven't subscribed to it.
Yeah, make sure you
But
get that. Because if you
yeah.
don't weld it, you're gonna really fuck up the server.
Yeah. Okay. And then we go into here. Fleet's gonna have a little mission right here. I'm planning to have that like the subtool called the ray shield, and I'm planning to have it right here.
Okay, so that'll hack that ray shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
be careful with that lat.
this one.
Yeah, because if you get blood on that, there's a chance you can start crashing people. What I would do if you're gonna put a lat that close, put walls that are no collided around it, and use the air material. That way, it's a see-through material, and if you are gonna have a lat near, it's not. The chances of getting blood on it are a lot lower. Because droids can't shoot through no collided props.
Okay.
So
I'll add
you can
that
do something
then.
like that, but just do be careful with that lat.
And then you're going over here. That's some spider droids. And then this is kind of like a lava area. I think I showed you this.
Yeah, I've seen this part.
And then I added a.
So what's the story to this event?
So there's gonna be a pirate leader. He's gonna be he's gonna be like taking control over a supply line, and it's cutting off the supplies to this planet. Okay. So we gotta go and eliminate him.
Is there a story behind where this lava is coming from?
Still gotta figure it out because I haven't really thought of this. Try to tie that in
because you don't want just random parts to your dupe that just don't make sense for the environment, right? Yeah. Maybe there was that mountain up ahead. Maybe you can make that into a volcano, and you can say, "Oh, the volcano erupted, and this was the result or something." You just try to tie stuff in. You want everything to try to make sense for the troopers so they feel engaged.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta get my ping out. We're doing a live ping right now. You know, I'm just copying some of this. Alright. I can still watch.
And then this little wall. So I'm planning to have like around like 2 or 3 BXs like popping out over here, so they could like when the troopers are right here. they could like start shooting them from above.
Okay. So
And
your shock objective is going to be in that little garage, and one of your fleet objectives, all right?
yeah,
Would that be correct? What would be your whatchamacallit, your 501st? What's 501st got to do during this event?
Fiber first. There's gonna be a. Let's go on. There's gonna be an ATTE over here. See, it's right here.
Okay.
And then there should be a salesman, and they gotta buy the ATT back from the salesman, but it's broken, so they gotta let's go. They gotta build it
Repair
back
it.
up.
Okay.
Yeah,
So you got like two shock things then. One 501st, one fleet.
yeah.
What do you got for 212th?
They're gonna utilize these buildings. I'm gonna place a Joe bomb here if anybody wants to spawn it for me,
Okay.
and then that, and yeah. And if they want, I'm gonna be spawning droids from right here, and then they could use their jetpacks to hover and then shoot them out of there.
Again, do be careful. I'm not Africa. I'm not sure. Does the Imperial Lat crash the server too? With
I'm not sure on that.
It does
I
that.
just wouldn't risk it because it does have moving parts.
what I would do, Mace, maybe try to. I have a stap speeder dupe you can steal from me. You know what a stap
Okay.
speeder is, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I have a dupe for that if you want to steal that, or I can spawn them in during this event or something. And I don't know, just lats are risky.
Alright.
I'm even taking a risk on my next event, but it's far away from the group. I just don't like using lats in general.
Okay. Alright, going on from that.
And then finally, 91st. What's their objective?
21st. So, up in this shack, there's gonna be like a little hobo here. He's gonna be injured though, and there's gonna be like some blood, right?
Mhm.
Like he's bleeding out, and they gotta fix him up. And then
Okay.
that, and then they gotta clean up some chem spills that I placed over there.
Alrighty. And then they're
And
going all the way over there.
yeah. Okay, and then this. Going to the left, there's gonna be some. It's gonna be a Jedi encounter.
Mm-hmm.
So they gotta either like tell this like to stop, and this is like a force ratio, and it's
Yeah.
like I don't know, it's just causing some it's
Alright.
causing them to like be weakened. So yeah,
Okay.
and then well yeah, that's pretty much it. And then that's when they evac. Probably gonna get rid of this too.
Yeah. Just in case. Unless you plan on doing droid spawns there. But
Yeah, I'm probably not, because yeah, I'm just
well,
not
this
gonna
is. I'm pretty sure this
plan
guy.
on.
Yeah, it's a little close.
Yeah.
I wouldn't risk it having the. I mean, you can call for evac there. That's fine. But I would say like maybe put a prop there where the EC will know where to land, because they might not know exactly what you're talking about when you said evac there. Unless you plan to just
Yeah.
put a prop lat, and that's fine. But and then
Okay.
just try to avoid trains of tanks. All right. Try to like stagger your spawns a little bit. So like you can use the roofs of these houses. You want to make your like I see there like leading to evac. Just try to stagger your spawns a little bit. Maybe put some barriers to the sides or something. Just put some droids on top of the houses. Just make sure they're not going in a straight line of tanks. Is all.
Yeah. Okay, well that's pretty much the end of my dude.
Okay. Well, do you have any questions about this week's notes? What it means to make a dynamic dupe? Maybe that's something you can try in the future.
Not really.
Okay. Maybe try something for one of your next events. Not this one, maybe, since you've already got this made up. But
Yeah.
try putting a dynamic part in there. It'll just make the troopers more engaged, and just make sure battalions have objectives throughout the entire thing. It'll just help engagement.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it. Africa, do you have anything else?
No.
head out. Master and Mace.
I'm out.